Welcome to Curie Electronics. In this video, we are going to solve ISRO Propulsion Complex 2016 Technician B electronic question paper, remaining questions. That is from question number 21 to 60. So with this second part, we will complete all the questions. In the first part, we have solved first 20 questions. So let's start. So this exam was held on 28/8/2016. In 2016, this ISRO Propulsion Complex has conducted 2 exams. So one more question paper is there, and in 2018 also they have conducted one more exam. So I'll try to do all these 3. So let's get into the questions. Question number 21. The average DC voltage of a half-wave rectifier circuit is dash of the value of peak input voltage. Dash of the value of peak input voltage. Here, we have a half-wave rectifier. Across this RL, we will get the output VDC. Now input is AC, VM. So here also the peak value of the voltage is going to be VM. That is what he is telling, the peak value. Now the output of this half wave rectifier is VDC, average DC, okay? Average DC equal to Vm upon pi. Now, what is the question? Average DC voltage of a half wave rectifier circuit is dash of the value of the peak input voltage. So we can write Vm, we will take it out, and then what we can write? 1 upon pi. If we simplify 1 upon pi, what we get? We get 0.31, we will get 1 upon pi multiplied by Vm. So it is 0.31 times the Vm value, whatever the peak value. If you are not clear with the peak value, peak to peak value, the I button there shows a link to this one of the video, so you can watch and learn it. So here, so the answer is in percentage. If you say, it is 31.8% of the 31.8% of the peak input voltage. That is 31.8. Similarly, for full wave rectifier, whether it is bridge rectifier or center tap rectifier, for that VDC or average DC, VDC equal to 2 Vm upon pi. That is the output DC voltage equation for a full wave rectifier. Now I hope you know how to find the percentage. Next question. To turn off the SCR, which of the following is done? So I'll give a little bit introduction of the SCR. SCR consists of PN junction. That is 2 diodes connected back to back. PN. And this is the anode, this is the cathode, this is the gate. So it has got how many junctions? J1, J2, J3. And how many layers are? It's a 4-layer device. 4-layer device. Then now. So there are, quickly I'll tell you 2 currents also. That is holding current. Next one is a latching current. and this holding current is current comes in picture of turning off of the SCR. So below the holding current value, the SCR will be off, and above the latching current, SCR is going to be on. This basic you should know. Now let's quickly see the question. To turn off the SCR, which of the following is done? Reduce the gate voltage to 0. This is not the option. Reverse bias the gate, not option. Once the gate triggers the SCR, it is going to be in conduction state only. Reduce the cathode voltage to 0. Reduce the anode voltage to 0. Now between the anode and cathode, we should have a positive potential voltage to make it conduct. So here the answer is reduce the anode voltage to 0. Symbol is like this, SCR symbol, and we have the gate, anode, cathode. So this voltage we have to reduce the anode voltage to 0, then it will turn off. For the signal shown, which of the following represents its inverted form? Inverted form, how do you draw? You have to draw just opposite of it. See, this is the inverted waveform. If you pass through this given signal, that is this signal, to a NOT gate, what we get, that is the inverted form. So which is the answer? So the answer is option C is the right answer, which matches with our inverted waveform. Question number 24. If a gas in a fixed volume container is heated, the resultant pressure of the gas. If a gas in a fixed volume container is heated, in the resultant pressure of the gas, the answer is the volume is fixed. If we apply heat, what happens? In the pressure of the gas increases. This is the Gay-Lussac's law. Gay-Lussac's law, and that states pressure is directly is directly proportional to temperature when volume is constant. When volume is constant. Next question. Surface area of a cube with side A is. So all of you know what is surface area of a cube. It has got 6 sides. Okay, a cube has got 6 sides. Drawing is not proper. It has got 6 sides. So a cube has got 6 sides now, and all not like my drawing, all sides are equal. Now if you see one face, if we take one face of the cube is like this, and all length and breadth of all cubes are, this is equal, all sides are A. Now what is the area of one side? Length into breadth, length into width. So here area of one side equals A multiplied by A, which comes to A square. So how many sides we have? Like that we have total 6 sides. So the answer is 6A square, because we have 6 sides for a cube, and for one side area is A square. Which of the following is classified as battery ratings? So in these options, first what you have to look for is the ampere hours. Then you should mention what is the voltage. So answer option is the right answer. That is internal resistance, voltage and ampere hours. Question number 27. The purpose of the oscilloscope is to provide the user with graphical representation of. It has got a x and y axis, and what it shows? Voltage with respect to time. Voltage with respect to time. We can measure phase as well as frequency using the oscilloscope. Question number 28. The power factor of a circuit is equal to, what is power factor? Cos phi is the cos theta. Cos theta is the power factor. So PF, power factor, equal to cos theta. This has got different equation. That is PF equal to power factor equal to true power upon apparent power. Apparent power. True power upon apparent power. So, or this is also equal to power factor equal to circuit resistance upon circuit impedance. Circuit resistance upon circuit impedance. So it's the maximum value of PF equal to unity, that is 1. And for a DC circuit, power factor equal to, for a DC circuit, power factor equal to 1. Question number 29. When performing testing of energized electrical equipment rated 480 volt AC, what type of gloves are required? We use low voltage gloves when you work with 480 volt AC. All of the following are common PPE used to personal protective equipment. PPE means personal protective equipment used to perform maintenance activities, except. So safety glasses we use to protect our eyes, gloves, hand and legs, earplugs to protection from the sound. That is your work permits. This is the odd one out of this. This work permit means a document is a document which allows you to work in a country. If you are not a citizen, okay. Now question number 31. The relay contact shown in the figure R. See this switch. What is this switch? It is a single pole, single throw. Single pole, single throw. Whatever the switch is shown is a single pole, single throw switch. So then what is single pole double throw? Single pole double throw will have two contacts like this. This is single pole double throw. We can have double pole double throw also. No, it has to be up. And these two will be connected. This is the double pole double throw switch. Double pole double throw switch. Okay, let's move to next question. Question number 32. In the power supply shown the waveform of the output across RL. So after this waveform, where we get this waveform is without capacitor, without filter capacitor. Filter capacitor. So when see if capacitor is not there, we are going to get this without capacitor waveform. This without capacitor, this option B. But if capacitor is there, then it is going to smoothen out. It is going to smoothen out. So answer is option A is the answer. Option A. Question number 33. What are the characteristics of a coaxial cable? Okay. So this coaxial cable has got a sender conductor. Around that there is an insulator. Around that what is there? There is a inner conductor. So what is the option? It has a sender conductor covered with an insulator, then braided or solid wire outer conductor, and then insulation. So this is the center conductor of the coaxial cable, then insulation. On that braided wire is there. This is the braided wire. On top of that there is a insulation. So that is the coaxial cable. We have mainly we have two, RG58 and RG59 coaxial cable. RG59. So this is 59 is 75 ohm and 58 is 50 ohm coaxial cable. So the answer is option B is the right answer. Question number 34. The type of spring used in solenoid is, see, solenoid, when you apply the voltage or current, it pulls, and when you release the voltage or current, what happens? This spring expands and pushes back. So it is a expansion. The spring used is a expansion type spring. What does LED stands for? No doubt all of you know light emitting diode. LED is for light emitting diode. It is light emitting diode. Name 3 leads of a common transistor. That is, transistor symbol I will draw it. We have 2 types of transistors. This is the first type. This is the second type. And we have the base, collector, emitter. So here also we have base, collector, emitter. And can you tell me which transistor is this first one? This is a NPN transistor. The arrow is going out. That is a NPN. The arrow is coming in, means it's a PNP transistor. So the answer is emitter, collector, base, emitter. Answer is option D is the right answer. Collector, base, emitter. Connecting a lead from the negative to the positive of a battery will produce. See, we have a battery. So if you take a wire and connect from here to here, what happens? It is actually a short circuit. So you should not do this. There is a chance of battery explosion. So this is a short circuit. How the short circuit, what is the property of short circuited circuit element? That is high infinite current flow. Infinite current and zero voltage. Those are the properties of this short circuited component. If there is a element in a circuit is short circuited, then there is going to be infinite current flow. Not in practical, it's not infinite, whatever the limited current, but maximum current will flow. Then the potential is going to be zero. Did I stick the no? There is a short circuit. Answer is short circuit. Question number 38. If 2 resistors are connected in series, the final resistance. We have 2 resistors is connected in series. Let this be A and this be B. R1, R2. Now what is the equivalent resistance? RT between A and B equal to R1 plus R2. So what is happening? If 2 resistors are placed in series, that is the final resistance. Higher is the final resistance. Similarly, if you have 2 resistors connected in parallel, what happens? R1, R2. R2. R1, R2. Between A and B, what is the resistance? So RT equal to R1, R2, product of these 2 resistors upon R1 plus R2. So that is the resistance. But actually, what happens to the resistance? It decreases. which is not a common value of resistance. So if you go to electronics online website or market, these resistors we can get easily with 2.7k, 1.8 make 330 ohm, but this 4k into k is the odd one. It is not a common one. But initially we will get 4.7k, not 4.4k. If a small value of capacitance is connected in parallel with a large value, the combined capacitance. So two capacitors are connected in parallel. If two capacitors are connected in parallel, this is between A and B, this is C1, C2. What is the, if two capacitors are connected, what is the CT? Equivalent capacitance, CT total capacitance equal to C1 plus C2. So what happens, the value increases if you connect a higher capacitor with a higher capacitor and small value capacitor in parallel, its value is going to increase. So CT equal to C1 plus C2. Similarly, if you connect a capacitor to capacitors and in series, what happens? What is the equivalent capacitance? C1, C2. Then CT equals between A and B. Then CT equals C1, C2 upon sum of two capacitors, C1 plus C2. Question number 41. The resistor identified in the black is called. See, the black, actually the black is this resistor. See, this is a little more. How it is? The resistor identified in black is called. See, this is the load resistor. See, because it is connected on the, it's a load resistor. Load resistance is the answer. Load resistor. Because it is connected on the collector of the transistor. But what is this resistor? This is a feedback resistor. Feedback. So the answer is a load resistor. A resistor with color bands red, 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 gold. What means red? Red, gold. So first two, it's a 4-band resistor. First two are digits, 2, 2. Third one is a multiplier and fourth one is the tolerance, plus or minus 5%. So the answer is equal to 2200 plus or minus 5%. It is in ohms. So we can write it in kilo ohms. This is equal to 2.2 kilo ohm plus or minus 5%. So this 2.2 kilo ohm, you can write it like this also, 2K2. This also meant the same, like a 2.2 kilo ohm plus or minus 5%. So its answer is option B. The circuit shown in the figure is called common base. See here, common collector, common emitter, emitter follower. So here what you have to see this emitter terminal is common to, the emitter terminal is common to input as well as output. So this is a common common emitter circuit. Because see, output is taken from here, output is from here, from the collector. So it's a common emitter. If output is taken from the emitter, then it is a emitter follower. So if we have a circuit like this, VCC and input here and here, and if you take the output from the collector, output, then it is a, if we are taking the out from the collector, this is a emitter follower. Emitter follower. The given circuit is what? It is a common emitter circuit. The four symbols in the figure are, so this is the first symbol is the capacitor. We have non-polarized capacitor. Next one is the microphone. Third one is the potentiometer and electrolytic capacitor. So which is option? Capacitor, microphone, potentiometer, electrolytic. So option D is the right answer. A CRO is a, what is the full form of CRO? Cathode ray oscilloscope. So if you want to know more about the cathode ray oscilloscope, you could watch this video which shows in the I button. That is cathode ray oscilloscope. CRO is the short form of cathode ray oscilloscope. For highest power gain, what configuration is used? For power gain, for highest power gain, we use CE, common emitter configuration for highest power gain. When amplifiers are cascaded, the gain of each amplifier is increased. That is not possible. Each amplifier remains same. A lower supply voltage is required. That also not. The overall gain is increased. To increase the overall gain only, we will cascade the amplifiers. Class C amplifiers are used. Class C amplifiers are used as. It is mainly used in RF amplifiers. Classic. So in the transmitter, usually in the RF transmitters, we need high power. There we generally use the high power RF, this class C amplifiers. So we will get the efficiency also high. So it is RF amplifiers. The push-pull circuit use dash operation. Push-pull circuits, the push-pull circuit means we'll have two transistors and they will be conducting first 180-degree cycle and next 180-degree cycle. So the answer is option B, class B operation. Class B operation. Question number 50. Power amplifiers generally use transformer coupling because transformer coupling provides impedance matching. The transformers coupling we use generally in amplifiers for impedance matching. Question number 51. The impedance of a load must match with the impedance of the amplifier so that maximum power is transferred to load. The impedance of load must match with the impedance of the amplifier so that maximum power is transferred to the load. This is known as maximum power transfer theorem. Let's study a little bit about maximum power transfer theorem. Maximum power transfer theorem. As per this theorem, the maximum power will be transferred from source when source resistance R equal to the load resistance RL. Then what is the power transferred if a small circuit, if you want to calculate the power transferred, P equal to, we apply the equivalent Thevenin circuit, that is VTH square, that is the Thevenin voltage upon 4 times RTH, Thevenin resistance. This is sufficient. So when maximum power is transferred when source resistance equal to load resistance. Question number 52. Permanent magnet moving coil instrument can be used. See this PM, permanent magnet moving coil instrument. This can be used only for DC, okay? Only for DC. This one electrodynamometer type is that can be used for both. Which of the following bridge measures DC resistance? For DC resistance, we use Wheaton's bridge. The balanced condition, current flowing through the galvanometer in a Wheaton's bridge is 0. Then the sharing bridge we will use for dielectric loss of a capacitor. Dielectric loss of capacitor. To measure this, we use a sharing bridge. And Maxwell bridge and Hay bridge, these two are inductance measurement. Inductance measurement. Inductance measurement. This Hay bridge is a little bit advanced version of Maxwell bridge. So the answer is option B, option C. DC resistance we use Wheatstone's bridge. Question number 54. A circuit which produces a high output when all the inputs are high. That is AND gate. So this is A and B are the two inputs of AND gate output. If you write the truth table A, B and Y, 0, 0, both inputs are 0, output is going to be 0. And if then also it is going to be 0, 1, 0 also 0. When both the inputs are high, we will get 1. That is the AND gate. AND gate. If you take complement of this AND gate, you will get NAND gate. An acceptable voltage range of logic 1 for TTL, that is, it should be above, for logic 1 the voltage has to be above 2 volt. So a suitable which we have two options, 2 volt to 5 volt and to 3.5 volt to 5 volt. So the right answer is option A. Above 2 volt, we can take it as a acceptable voltage range for logic 1. It has to be above 2 volt. And it's a acceptable logic voltage range of logic 1. Let me write one more thing. What is the noise margin of TTL? Noise margin in TTL, that is equal to 0.4 volt is the noise margin in TTL. Question number 56. All arithmetic operations can take place in the dash of a computer, that is ALU. ALU means arithmetic logic unit. Arithmetic logic unit. All arithmetic operations are done by ALU. Question number 57. A shift register in which the output of the last flip-flop is connected to the input of the first flip-flop. See here, we have flip-flops. Let's take 3 flip-flops. All are flip-flops. Flip-flop 1, flip-flop 2, flip-flop 3. All are let it be D flip-flops. Okay. Now this will have Q. D is the input. D flip-flop. These are D flip-flops. Again, this will come to the D of this. Again, this output will come here. Is also D of this. This is this Q. Also Q bar also there. Okay, complement also there always. Now in this shift register, we have to apply clock also for all shift registers. Clock. So we have D flip-flops. This is the clock. This has a shift register. Now if I take the output of this shift register and connect it to the input of the first flip-flop, this is known as the ring counter. Ring counter. This is known as the ring counter. So a shift register in which output of the last flip-flop is connected to the input of the first flip-flop, it is known as the ring counter. Right, this ring counter is right. And now one more thing I'll tell you. If you take this Q complement and connect it to the input, if I connect to the, instead of the Q, if I connect Q complement, then it is Johnson counter, or it is known as twisted ring counter. Twisted ring counter. See, one more we can relate it. See here, for the ring counter, number of states are n. N equal to number of flip-flops. So here number of states are 3. For a Johnson counter or twisted counter, number of states are number of states are 2n. So here it is going to be 6. So let's move to next question. Question number 58. Class of memory devices that use a laser beam to write and read onto a specific coated disk. All of us know DVD, CD. So it is a optical disk memory. It's an optical disk memory. Then what is a non-volatile memory? When power is removed, data not lost. That is the non-volatile memory. This is the example. What are the examples? Or hard disk of a computer. Hard disk. When power is removed, it retained the data. Also, read-only memory. Then this RAM is a volatile memory. Volatile memory. When power removed, when power is lost, the data also lost. That is a volatile memory. Question number 59. An IC that transforms parallel data to serial in asynchronous format and vice versa. The answer is UART, Universal Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter. This USART means synchronous as well as asynchronous. But here in the question only he is mentioning asynchronous. So it is UART. Modem means what? Modulator, demodulator. Modulator, demodulator. That is what modem. We use with the phone. Modulator. Or landline phone for the internet connection. Modulator, demodulator. Now this is the last question. That is 59. Text editors and formatters belong to the area of computing known as whatever we do in our MS Word, MS Excel, MS Word actually, text editor and formatter, that is the MS Word, Notepad. Those are the word processing softwares. That is MS Word and Notepad. Those are word processing softwares. So with this, we have completed all the questions in IPRC 2016 question paper. If you like the video, please share with your friends and don't forget to hit the like button. So next I will try to solve 2018 question paper IPRC. After that, one more question was there in 2016. Let's see if time permits, I will try to upload the video. See you soon.